Okay, so this is the last segment. I just wanted to wrap up the end of that last article um, by Berlin, Effects of Marriage and Divorce. One of the things that he cited that would help families with their um, financial stress was the implementation of the removal of the 100-hour rule in Minnesota. So that families needed to work less than 100 hours before they could get welfare. So programs like that are underway. The family education, even though it comes maybe from a more conservative viewpoint, it would be beneficial. I would enjoy participating in family education, marriage education, parenting, that kind of thing, to help reduce stress. So maybe it could affect the divorce rate, and in turn affect the children during the early childhood phase that I'm talking about here. So, so I wanted to wrap up. What can we do for these children? We need to help make them feel safe. And I refer to Fowler, who talked about spirituality and faith development, which is part of the biopsychosocial perspective, the spirituality perspective, because at this early childhood time, children are learning whether the world is a safe place, and if their family structure changes, if it's very stressful, if the stressors are increasing, they're not going to feel safe. Parents can help reduce resilience. That's another thing we can do, and coach our clients to help create resilience in their children. In our family assessment handbook, resilience is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity and trauma, sources of significant stress. Arthur Schneider had a supportive article that he reviews Constance Aaron's book, We're Still Family, and he shares a couple of pointers about helping children foster resilience around divorce. Don't share too many details with them, just letting them know, especially the younger they are, that you've made a decision, and you're planning on working it out with the least impact on them. The breaking of the news will be a memory for them. So if it's going to be volatile, invite maybe a person along that is a touchstone for them. Don't make them choose where they want to live. They'll resent you for that, according to this author, and limit the number of changes in the environment. Louis Levin, another supportive article from his website, a PhD, talks about communication and knowing that a child in this early development stage is going to try to elicit attention. Knowing that ahead of time will help you be patient with them. Keeping routines fun and predictable. I had a picture here I was going to share with you, but things are a little disorganized right now. But having fun and making the trip to mom's or the trip to dad's kind of an adventure with secure landmarks along the way, especially when the environment is changing. And remember that according to Piaget, they are egocentric. So it's going to be all about them, and knowing that ahead of time will help. Another way to reduce the impact would be to help them with school readiness. There was a wonderful article from the United Nations Children Fund on readying children for school, readying schools to support children, and readying families to help prepare them for this phase of a child's development. Food insecurity is an issue that would create a lot of stress for children during this stage, and with this extra stressor of divorce. In 2009, and that's what I have here, my statistic, 14.3% of the U.S. population lived in poverty. I know that's quite a few years from now, before now, but um, and the percentage of single mothers is clearly higher than um, single fathers. 30.4% of single mothers live in poverty, whereas 18.8% of single fathers, we're talking about custodial parents, live in poverty. So assisting families with their food insecurity. I know that, when I became a single mom, I'm still in the process of learning things, and it would be helpful to have someone, help them sign up for Obamacare to get benefits, or Medicare. So supporting our clients in that way. So I'm going to wrap up finally with some thoughts on if I had a client who was an adult, let's say, having trouble with decision making about career or intimacy issues. I might look back at this stage and talk about attachment that might have occurred or not occurred around a family divorce. Since this is the initiative guilt stage that we're talking about, there might be some guilt around divorce, as their parents divorcing as a child. Perhaps I'm working with an adolescent who didn't have a chance to explore their interests in that early development phase. Should there have been divorce, there may have been chaos, and not a lot of opportunities to explore those things, and left with their sense of identity suffering, so which they're creating in their adolescence. So these are ways that I could help some of my clients, and I'm going to close with a little song instead of trivia. It's kind of silly, but if you made it this far to this presentation, so I was a kinder music teacher, and early childhood was my favorite age. So we're going to say, goodbye, goodbye. It's time to sing goodbye to my friends. Goodbye, goodbye. It's time to say goodbye. I know, that's really silly, but goodbye. Thanks for listening.